If you happen to live in a country that practice the first past the post system in the election, you might heard something called gerrymandering and how it works and how actually it affect the real value of democracy. Gerrymandering is a process where a state or a city or a county were delineated according to a specific electoral district where people can need to vote for to represent themselves. However, the gerrymandering process is that instead of following the proper border like county border or state border, even the neighborhood border, instead it's like drawing as that the people wish to in favor of one party over to another, and usually it's happened in a country which practice the first past the post system, which is system of democracy is that whoever get the most votes win. As such, gerrymandering happens to favor of like this area. We tend to vote for this party over like this party, even though that the winning party actually get less votes in the real term in the election. Let me show you an example. On the 27th of January 2022, the New York Times website has issued a trivia. It shows that how gerrymander works. Gerrymander can happen in a state or in a county, generally. And in this game, it shows that even the party that get less than 50% of the total votes less than 50% of the polling districts can still win in an election, even though there are some rules that to follow. For example, there are minority electoral constituency, for example, to ensure they are represented in the legislature, and also they are try to make it as round or square as possible, so not make it too obvious like this one swing, collecting all the same-minded voters into a single area. So as such, let's start drawing and see how it works, gerrymander. And this is the minority areas. Let's say it is in the minority areas. Let's go. Let's start drawing here. There are 9 seats in total in this state. They need one party need to have 5 seats or more to win, and for one constituency or one seat, the total of polling district need to win about 8 and above. So now the yellow already winning the election for this constituency. Now you end 6 major minority, and let's go. Yeah, this is a one. You need to include every okay, that one. And this is also another minority. Five, 3 more right here. Okay, already win the election. Now, like the suburban areas surrounding that 2 big city, or like settlement by the minorities as such. In this election, 5 seats won by the yellow party, even though they didn't have more than 50% of the majority in the polling district. It is show that how gerrymander works. As such, gerrymandering process is really bad for democratic society, which that the losing party actually gain the most votes in an election, whereas the party who get less than 50% of the vote and the less than 50% of the electoral district win upright the election. So that is how gerrymandering not really uphold the real value of democracy. As such, it makes an unequal representation in the state. Such thing happen in real life. for example, in America, where that's why the New York Times issued that this kind of a trivia games to show how the gerrymandering works. It's also happened in the place like even here in Malaysia, where when there will be an election, the election electoral lines will be drawn back based on the past electoral votes, because some places or some city tend to vote for this party over another, and that is why like there are more seats in the rural area in Malaysia rather than in the city. Major cities, even with the 100,000, 200,000 people population represented by YMCs, and the rural areas in the whole district, or the district cut into two, and the voters maybe like only a third of the city, they can get a more representative in the parliament. So this is like unequal representation in the democratic society. How to solve the gerrymandering is that there are some countries that already practice, like in one constituency or in one electoral district, then not only one candidate who contested. As such, it much more fairer competition, you might say, and actually give people much more choice rather than choosing rather than choosing only one wanker from the rest of the flock. One of the reform that can be done to prevent gerrymandering is practice a multi-member constituency election, where one parliamentary constituency is not consists of one chair or one place or one seat in the one seat in the parliament, but actually maybe 2 or 3. It depends on how many population live in the city, and also fair to the ethnic representation. Maybe some minorities live in the certain area, for example in the reservation or such, aborigines in the case of Australia, and such. People not only vote for one candidate, but they can choose maybe more than one, maybe 2 or 3. They in case of Germany, they are also the voters can also vote for the party. They have like 2 separate paper ballots, one for the local representation of the constituency, and another paper represent the party. Maybe like the candidates for the local local seat is like really like different from the nationwide list. As such, people can vote like this one party A and let the nationwide party B. They give a bit more choice, because at the end both parties might have like representation into the into the parliament, or in the Germany Bundestag. So you have much more choices, and minimum usually if there are 2 candidates, both wins. If there are 3, you can choose 2. And such, maybe like one is going to die or going to overseas for medical treatment in Germany, for example. So instead of only one, or empty seats, so another person who win the election can represent the whole electoral district. That's much more fair. There are also another countries that prevent gerrymandering altogether by simply don't have like differences of the provinces or district. The whole country itself is a single constituency. For example, like these are practiced in Israel. The whole country of Israel is actually like one constituency, and the votes percentage, how many the party let's say the number of the votes, certain percentage that a party get, that is how much the seats they can get in the Knesset, like in the legislation council. And also recently in Armenia also practice the same thing. The whole country practicing the single constituency, and the party given like how much percentage they got in the votes during the election, and then how much seats they get. And also in the constituent state of Faroe Island. Faroe Island only have a 38 seat in the thing, like their own part, their own like assembly, and from 38 like the vote like 100, and then divide how much party can get this presidency. So the representation is much fairer in that way. But maybe it didn't work in Malaysia because of the ethnic thing, and also maybe like some of the underrepresentation, especially in people in Sabah and Sarawak, because their number, because some of the ethnic numbers in certain area is so small. Maybe like the majority can dilute their representation. So maybe one system cannot fit all. But I can see like the best system that we can think of like the multi-member constituency, whereas like where there is an issue of like death or like going for the medical treatment, court cases whatsoever, that another person who won the election can take her, and unnecessarily that these 2 person or 3 or more is from the same party. People can choose. That's the beauty of the multi-member constituency, and mostly using here are like really, and often the country that use the multi-member constituency like open list, the one who are really have a like high democracy index, the really top ranking one. There are another type of the like multi-member constituency member. There are one is a close, the close one. There are no gerrymandering here, but because people only choose the party but not the member, so it's also not really good for the democracy as well. It's this methods happen practiced in Turkey, in Kazakhstan as well. As a result, gerrymandering generally a really bad idea of practicing democracy. So I really wish a good luck for the people who are like the Yellow Party, who get less than 50% of the votes, but it really get that win for the next election because of the unequal representation of the gerrymandering process, like drawing line and this and then boom, yeah, you got the most votes. As such, the election using gerrymandering is not like a real representation of the real democracy.